Good afternoon. Listen, we are in another house. It's another episode of Up Close on the weekend with Betty. And guess what? The person who we will be spending the day with today is drums drill. Do you know this person? Let me bring the picture so close to you. Yes, I'm sure it's coming. Yes. The one and only Carol Radull, media personality, sports enthusiast, and a really amazing woman. We'll be spending the day with her. She's making some coffee. So, Carol, you can come out now. The big reveal.
First of all, I can't believe you used that photo from a different century. That doesn't even look like me.
Look at that. Look, what were you? First, you're a cowgirl. There you go. A cowgirl with the whole thing, with the whole shebang. The person who is in this picture and the person who's standing right here is very different. Because here you look like you are a bit, edgy.
Oh, gosh.
Considering the picture, I don't know if you can see the picture clearly.
Here, I thought life would be a little bit easier than it was. I actually believed a lot of lies I would told, both professionally and personally at the time.
Really?
And I actually thought that one day, by 2020, the Kenyan Premier League would be like the English Premier League. That's that girl. This is reality.
No, this is reality. Yeah. We're looking at reality. But oh well, you still look really pretty.
Thank you.
But a lot has changed.
Wait.
Yeah. The weight.
The weight. The weight has changed. How coffee?
Before can you come first? I think you're in a hurry. There's a few things here I want us to talk about. Sorry for raiding your house. This is what we normally do sometimes. So let's go through some of the awards. Kenya Premier League. Best radio presenter of the year, 2008. Of course, like who else now?
2008, very few journalists actually covered the Kenyan Premier League. The most coverage KPL would get is about a slot this size in the daily papers saying, these are the fixtures, these are the results.
Right.
So in 2000, it was actually 2007, which they didn't have awards. 2008, I actually made a conscious decision to focus more on the Kenyan Premier League.
Seriously?
So I guess putting them on primetime radio.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
dusty. I'll help you clean up.
I'm gonna fire my house girl.
I think. How did you put it? I don't.
Yeah. So
you have your Arsenal piggyback over there, and it actually has money, but not enough money to buy any goals.
No, and there are a lot of old coins. You know, when they get rid of our old coins as well, at least I'll have stock.
Oh, you have stock.
Yeah.
This is nice. Everything's just Arsenal over here.
This is Arsenal. But if I can tell you a story, I wish this was all, say, Gor Mahia or Zoo FC or AFC Leopards. It's just that our clubs are not organized to produce such stuff. You'll find out what I've served you in. But really? when there's merchandise and jerseys for Kenyan Premier League clubs, I make sure I always buy, whether I support them or not. People always ask me, which team do you support? I'm like, okay, I have a Gor jersey, an AFC jersey, a Sofapaka jersey, a Mathare jersey. The other day I got a Shabana jersey, a Zoo FC jersey.
So you're all-rounded.
Our clubs need more. Our clubs need more than just noise. Our clubs actually need you to show up and buy what they have and support them financially and with whatever platforms you have. Right. So the minute they start producing things like this,
you will buy. Yeah. And today I will buy a Jazza Study hoodie.
Thank you.
We have to. The whole squad, the whole crew, Sarah, Wangugi, and
I hope you pay them enough.
They are paid enough. I mean, it's up close. All right, fine. Let's have some coffee, and then later on, obviously, you're going to work.
Yes, I have a show to do
We'll
today.
be taking the score. People who've never heard about your story, how you grew up, how your dad was, working an engineer in a
mining engineer.
Mining engineer.
He was trained in mines. He used to work in Wadui in Tanzania, and there were diamonds there. So he actually didn't have enough money to go to any college, but he worked in the mines after his A levels. So somebody was like, "This guy is a little sharp. Can we sponsor you to a mining course?" And he was like, what else am I going to do?
Just like that?
Yeah, and they sent him to London. He went to Camborne School of Mines. And eventually, by the time I was born, he was working in Botswana for De Beers mining company, which was the biggest mining company in the world. And we were there for about 10 years. So my primary years were all spent in Botswana with my sister and my two brothers. Yeah. And so I grew up there and came back to Kenya.
So coming back to now, you in Kenya, okay, so your sister, your sisters and brother, So how was it? How was it here?
Well, of course, I came later in high school, went to a private school, eventually went to Kenya High School.
So you guys are the ones, you guys are they're called punks, you know, like rich kids. Yeah? Rich kids of Kenya, rich kids of from Botswana.
You know, that is the assumption.
Yeah, tell me about it.
When my dad was working in Botswana, we had money. When we left Botswana, my dad actually went to Angola for 2 years. And the plan was for him to go to Angola for about 5 years. We came here because there was a war in Angola in the 80s. But he ended up cutting that short to 2 years because of the war. It was too dangerous. So there was a time in the 90s that we almost lost a lot of our money. And it's the same time that my young brother got cancer. So here my dad was, he's out of a job, but he started businesses, and he's dealing with the first cancer case in the family. And it drained us as a family.
What kind of cancer was that?
He had Hodgkin's disease. It's a form of leukemia. So that, of course, threw out the finances.
How was it having your brother sick?
Oh, that was hard. We were teens. He was 14. I was 15. I mean, it was hard. It was 7 months from the time he was diagnosed to the time he passed away. It was exactly 7 months.
What?
So by the time you're breathing to think how we're going to deal with it, it's over. So you're like, okay, nobody dies in my family. And I was in Form 4 by the time he died. So it just messed up my education. It was hard. And then my mom took it the hardest because she's the one who had to stay up with him at night. He's throwing up, he's not eating, he lost weight. He was already a slim child. He lost weight, lost his hair, all these things that happens when you have cancer.
And you also lost your dad to cancer?
I lost my dad to prostate cancer. His was slightly better in that, I mean, he had 10 years of it. So he was slightly better in that it was caught early. He got the surgery. Did the radiotherapy, made us all broke again because I have friends who came through for me. Really? I have so many friends who came through for me. Even Radio Africa came through for me. You know, they said any money that the staff raised, the company doubled. So
really?
Yeah, the company matched.
Wow. You've talked to us about the whole you losing your brother and then you losing your dad. What can you say about this? Of course, you've already said that it's so sad that all those years, 25 years before that gap actually, then nothing has actually changed. How does that make you feel? And have you tried to do anything about it in your own way?
I had got involved with an organization called Hope for Cancer Kids, and all they do is raise money for NHIF, because that is what many people who are admitted in Kenyatta, they don't have NHIF, and you all know that bed nights can ruin you.
Yes.
So we went on a campaign, literally raising 3,000 shillings to cover one child for a year.
What?
And that was fantastic. I mean, I love that exercise. And a lot of my friends came through for that.
Let's talk about your relationship with your mom, your sisters. You guys see each other on a daily?
Well, my sister...
You and your sister look so much alike.
Oh, she's as pretty as me.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Okay, she's older than me by a year, so she's going to say, no, she came first.
Yeah.
But we're tight as... She's my best friend. And
that's nice.
She's the one person who doesn't take my nonsense.
What about your mom?
My mom now lives alone in Bondo. She's a caterer. She has a catering group. They do events and catering stuff in Shags. Top quality. She's a very good cook.
Skills advertisement, Neo.
No.
I'm just saying. No, please give her. It's your mom.
Call Auntie Ida and ask Auntie Ida about my mom and how she caters.
See, by then you organize Auntie Ida for Upclose. We've been looking for her.
Auntie Ida, Auntie Ida, come for Upclose.
Auntie Ida, please come for Upclose.
We're asking nicely.
We're asking nicely. So she does a catering business and everything.
Yeah, and she's of course the rock in the family now because it's her and my sister and I. I lost my other brother about 20 years ago. He got stabbed in some thug stabbed him, punctured his spleen. He had surgery, just didn't go down well. Yeah, but it was about 20 years ago, 98, 22 years ago.
You've gone through so much. You've gone through so much, and here you are so strong, speaking about all these experiences so, strongly. I can now because time has passed. Of course, when it happens, and then there are those days that, like for me, May is a hard month. My small brother died on the 15th of May. My dad died on the 19th of May. So May is just a crazy month for me, So let's talk about Auntie Ida. Ida Odinga.
Yes.
To be more precise. So how's that relationship? How is she as an aunt?
When we first went to Kenya High School, there were no boarding places. So we lived with her because she was a teacher there.
Yes.
She's actually my geography teacher. Imagine
Seriously?
living with her and then you're going to school and she's your teacher. And then she gives you homework. And then she won't help you.
Was Mama Ida like a strict teacher? Was she strict?
She was fair.
Yeah, that's okay.
I would say she was fair.
Yeah.
If you talk to old girls, they tell you we loved Auntie. We used to call her Dingy. Oh, God.
Dingy?
I don't know if she knows that.
What does dingy mean?
Just short for a dinga. So we used to call her Dingy. Yeah.
Dingy! So we'll go see Carol Radull in action, in studio, and I can't wait to see that. Yeah, and a lot more things, Is she dating? Is she, yeah. And all those things. Let's go to work. All right, this is Up Close on the Weekend with Betty. Today we're spending our afternoon. It's a Saturday afternoon, by the way, with Carol Radull. She made us work on a Saturday, but it's fine.
I work on Saturday.
I work on Friday and Saturday. Okay. Okay, guys, so we are now at Kiss FM, of course, at Radio Africa, and we brought Radull to work. I'm just taking you to work. I take people to work.
On a Saturday.
On a Saturday afternoon. Oh. But tell us, first of all, you've been on radio for so long. Not that it's a bad thing.
I've actually been on radio for more than 20 years.
More than 20 years?
I've been here at Radio Africa for 20 years. Well,
you're so loyal.
It'll be 20 years in August. Before that, I was on radio on the BBC. I worked for the BBC for about 2 years. Wow. I worked for Reuters for about 2.5 years. I worked for Mohammed Amin, the great Mohammed Amin.
You are lucky.
Before that.
How was that like?
And stop doing a calculation for my age.
I'm not calculating a calculation. I'm like, okay, 20
Mohammed Amin
years.
was amazing. I was a starry-eyed teenager, like 19, 20, and I was like, all I knew about him was that I knew the story of how he lost his arm, this great Reuters photojournalist who was in covering was Somalia, Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, Somalia, shame on my memory. And they got attacked, and now you've heard things about him, and then suddenly you're working for him.
Are you nurturing other people when you get completely
I have
tired?
nurtured so many people, The other day I was at the BBC, and I went and I found so many of my former interns, former reporters, people I worked with at Supersport, the producers, the journalists, the cameramen, their editors, and I was like, most of them came through my hands. Wow. If you go through my social media, you'll see a lot of people calling me Mommy.
Mommy?
Yeah.
Mommy.
And it's because...
Funny, how old are you, Carol? Mommy.
I'm in my 40s.
Sawa, it's okay, it's fine. Women should not see their age. How can you describe your journey as a sports journalist, as a journalist, as a media personality so far?
I used to be a business journalist on the print desk.
What?
So I would do the stock market, I would do the money.
So you're so well versed, man.
Exchange. I would do hard news. There's a time I was reminding Manoa Esipisu, my first visit to Parliament was under his wing.
Seriously?
And went to cover a press conference at Parliament because he was at Reuters at the time.
You've done quite a, I think. And
a lot.
When did this love for sports come from?
In school, I played almost every sport, believe it or not.
All of them?
Almost all sports except football. Believe it or not. I did some football in Form 1, but I was a really good swimmer. I was really good at racket games, tennis, badminton.
Coming back now to what you do here at Radio Africa.
This show, a lot of people don't know, it's like a side hustle.
Yeah, apparently you were telling me earlier.
Yeah, because most people here don't work on Saturdays. You've seen the office is almost empty. It's only presenters.
Yes, yes.
So when I do the show, I get paid. When I don't do the show, I don't get paid.
You've done this show for how long?
Since 2006.
What?
So that's what.
I'm still calculating.
14 years in May.
What? 14 years?
And I started with Jimmy, then Mina, and then the current setup, Joy and Kiani.
Okay. Now let's talk about the t-shirt you're wearing. And where's my hoodie?
Just a study.
Just a study.
My favorite
You're holding
subject.
it's like your baby, literally.
I have a hoodie for you. I have a hoodie for you.
Let's see.
And I hope it fits.
Thanks. Let's see. This is really nice. I love it.
So
let me just try it.
I should actually have given this to you at the end so that I can tell you about that. Because first I want to tell you about Jazza Study.
Basi is fine. I can just put it on for now.
The reason we started Jazza Study was because I felt shame when I went to the stadium and there was nobody there.
Right.
And
this was how long ago?
The first time I did it without a name was around 2008. And I would just call my friends, call Caroline Mutoko, Larry Asego, Jalango, Fidel Odinga, the late Fidel Odinga, and I tell them every Sunday, let's go and watch one game and build hype around the game. Because a lot of people were saying the stadiums are insecure. You know, if I ask you why you don't go, you have perceptions that are not really true.
Really?
Yes, we have 1 or 2 games or 1 or 2 clashes involving some of the bigger sides, which are touch and go. But there are 20 teams there are 18 teams right now in the Kenyan Premier League. There are 20 in the Super League. And we have 3 other or 4 other tiers of leagues with low risk games that you can go and enjoy yourself just as a trial.
Yeah.
So I started in 2008 on my own, and because it started as fans just doing this, it didn't last very long.
Right.
A few years ago, I got a call from Bram Karamoja and his team. Chris Darling, the guys who now had formed Jazza Study as a company.
Right.
And they said, Radull, we want you on board because you're passionate about sport and we need somebody who's going to help us push this agenda.
Yeah.
We've gone a step further to tell the clubs we work with, and not every clubs are receptive. Huh?
Yes, yes.
The clubs we work with, we tell them, we can't keep this up. You need to brand, you need to market. You need to get on social media as a club. You need to tell your players to get on social media as players. Yeah. Every weekend, all of you, print a flyer, post it. And what you'll find is many people who come for these Jazza Study games actually enjoy themselves. Yeah. They're like, this is not half bad.
Yes, yes.
It's not as insecure as I thought.
Yes. And you've never gotten any support from the government? I just had to throw it in there just to... Yeah.
No, none. We have sponsors who come in and out, who cover our costs when they're there, because you have costs of sound, you have costs of artists and all these things. This hoodie you're wearing, we sell hoodies and T-shirts and tracksuits and stuff. Any money, we don't make profit. This is 2,500 shillings.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Can I buy one?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one. At least just write the name BK on the side. Is it possible?
I will write BK. I will write whatever you want. Thank you for buying.
Yeah, I'll buy it. And the next time you're going for the game will come.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll come. We'll come. And I'll rally my fans also. So you rally yours and I rally mine.
Yeah.
There's an article I read online and it said, has Carol Radull found the love of her life? It was like a romantic, what do they call it? Soap opera. So, yeah. Hey, Paka, you're even like, oh.
It's too hot in here.
That's how you feel inside?
Yes, yeah.
That's
Betty,
nice.
I'm dating. Not that it's anybody's business.
But you know.
And no, I'm not dating that guy who wanted us to share my salary.
I saw that.
Yeah, I asked him to go find somebody else.
You can't share your salary?
Huh?
You can't share your salary?
Oh, I can share my salary with the right person.
So you can share at least?
Yes.
You can send fare?
I would rather not, but I can. It depends on the circumstance.
Yeah.
I think all those women who believe that it's a man's role to do everything financially in the house, for me that's nonsense.
I like that.
In this day and age, we both work. We both go
and
to
life
work.
is already so hard. You have to help each other.
You have to help each other.
Are we expecting like a wedding?
Jumping the gun.
Can I just prepare myself with my kitenge nicely, peacefully?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let me say not yet.
No, you're excited. I was hopeful.
No, not.
I'm not giving you pressure, but
not in a bad way. One, I've not been asked, so I cannot assume I'm getting married and I've not been asked.
Wow, the lines have been drawn, and I know you, boyfriend. You better.
Betty, let's be open about this.
Do something.
I was married for 7 years, and it was not a bad 7 years. It was a great 6 years, and then 1 year was a bit rough and whatever. But having been in the institution of marriage is not something you easily jump into again. there are lessons I learned. I will never say anything negative publicly about my ex-husband. I believe he was a good man. I was in love with him when we were married. But things just change, and you draw apart for whatever reason, and maybe it's just not meant to be the one.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you get there, how many people have you dated? And it's not worked out. So you can't assume that maybe he just came along at a time when we were ready and whatever. And
or for a purpose. Also, people come in your life for a purpose, right?
I learned a lot in the institution of marriage. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't force it.
How was that experience for you? There's a lot of stigma surrounding divorce. That's why people decide to persevere, you know, quote unquote.
If you asked me this 4 years ago when I was going through it, I would probably be in tears right now.
Yeah.
Because people need to understand it's not an easy thing. You don't wake up and decide, this relationship's too hard, I'm getting divorced. It's not a cheap decision you make.
Yeah.
You give it a lot of thought. You try 7 times, 7 times. And even as you go through it, even after making the decision to do it, it's still not easy. A year later, it's still not easy.
Yeah.
You know, you always ask yourself, is this something I could have done?
Right.
But it's, and people need to realize it actually hurts when somebody belittles it.
Yeah.
And I pray people don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
You know, those people belittle. It's hard, Betty.
It's hard.
You've been there.
Woo,
it's hard.
Man, even when you talk like that,
it's
I'm
hard.
it's
but there's life after it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
And you beat yourself up, and if you're lucky enough to find happiness with somebody else, then maybe that's what was meant to be. I don't know.
Yeah. But try, but you know, it's not also the end.
Yeah. It's not the
end. So we've gone deep, man. So
honestly, Betty, you went there.
I went there. So let's do this. Let's start it. Let's have some fun now. Whew.
Very good Saturday afternoon to you. I'm Carol Radull.
And I'm William Sugula.
It's like you forgot.
I thought you were coming to him, then me. No. You know what happened?
You're kidding Inji. So just stick with the rhythm. Unfortunately, thanks to this coronavirus, they have literally suspended nearly every single sporting event that's happening this weekend, next week, for the next couple of weeks, around the whole world.
Yeah. If you now avoid the league, what happens now to relegation? What happens to the team?
Relegation becomes the issue.
Yeah, it becomes an issue because teams will go to court and say, look, we have been denied a chance to play for this title or fight. So it brings an issue.
And I imagine the losses must be immense.
Yes, yeah.
By the time you've cancelled the Australian GP, the Vietnam GP, the Sevens in Hong Kong, all
NBA,
these things, the NBA,
yes.
there are monetary implications for every team and every country involved in this.
All right, guys, what a fantastic time it has been spending the afternoon on a Saturday with Carol Radull. It has been so nice.
Thank you.
I
Thank
feel
you so much. I've actually enjoyed myself.
Yeah, you did. So I'll send an invoice. Yeah, time is money. All right.
Send an invoice for that hoodie.
But are you seeing my hoodie? So how can people get this hoodie, by the way?
There's a number on the Jazza Study handle.
All right.
Jazza_study.
Okay.
On Twitter or
everywhere.
Instagram, and you can get.
But before we wrap up, there's something I have to ask you.
Yes.
So the other day you were trending.
Yes.
The other day for the picture thing, you know, the picture, the drawing.
Oh, the drawing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened there. An artist who had talent did a drawing of me. I didn't like it. All I told him was go and hone your skills because you obviously have talent. For me, that's the best advice I can give you.
Yeah.
And people like, Radull, you should not have been honest. So I should have lied that I liked it.
Yeah.
It's flattering, thank you. But you can't draw me and then force me to buy it.
Right.
Because that's what they, and I'm sure it happens to you.
Yeah, it has happened to me many times.
If I accepted everybody who did that, I'd have about 30 or 40 drawings and paintings of myself, which I don't know what to do with.
Right.
They are creepy hanging on my wall. Someone even wanted to sell for 25,000 shillings.
Oh,
I'm going to buy it. Yeah, well, not that one, but somebody else has done a really nice one of me. But for 25,000 shillings, I need to buy sanitizer. I need to buy meat. You know, I have costs.
Yeah, you have costs. So talk to your fans, people who are watching you tonight. And
I just want to say I appreciate your support.
Right.
You know? We are who we are because of how people receive us.
Right.
Thank you to all those who follow me on social media. Thank you to everyone who listens to The Score. But more importantly, thank you to those who turn up for Jazza Study activations and for other Kenyan football games. Please go and support Kenyan football. We'll never grow if we don't support our own.
So thank you so much. It's back to the studio. You want to say goodbye? You want to say goodbye?
Thanks so much to you guys, and yeah,
blow a kiss, do something, blow a kiss, you know, make it nicer.
Blow a kiss.
See, you blew the other time.
Oh,
it's safe.
We're out, back to studio.